Today we're going to go over decomposing mixed numbers. Before I can do this, I have to go over some vocabulary words. So let's do that first, and then we'll come back to the main topic of decomposing mixed numbers. So decomposing. Decomposing means to break apart. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say I have this fraction right here. This is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So this is equal to 4/4. Now, to decompose this fraction, all I'm going to do is break it apart. Watch how I break it apart. I'm going to take this whole and I'm just going to break it up. See how now there was one piece. Do you see that? And now there's going to be 4 pieces. So this again is 4/4. And after I've broken it apart, I have 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, right? And I'd like you to look at each one of these fractions. So I'm going to rewrite it. So we have 4/4 is equal to 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. And I want you to look at all of these fractions. In the numerator, there's always a 1. When that occurs, what we've created is unit fractions. And the definition of a unit fraction is that there is a 1 in the numerator. And I like to always put that the numerator is the top number. So I'm going to put top here. Pen's running out a little. Okay. So we have 2 definitions now. Decomposing means to break apart, and unit fraction means that there's always a 1 in the numerator. Okay, next slide. Okay. Now we want to do examples of unit fractions. I can give you more examples. 1/5 is a unit fraction because there's a 1 at the top. 1/2 is a unit fraction because there's a 1 at the top. 1/8 is a unit fraction because there's a 1 at the top. And 1/3 is a unit fraction because it has a 1 at the top. Now, usually when we give it examples, we want to give non-examples. So an example down here of a non-unit fraction would be a fraction like 2/4 or 3/8 or 4/5. That's not equal. Or 2/3. Look at all of these non-examples. So a non-unit fraction, look, it's not a unit fraction because the numerator doesn't have a 1 in the top. Okay, so that's 3 definitions: decomposing, unit fractions, and non-unit fractions. The next definition would be a mixed number. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction together. Let me give an example of that. So if I have a 1 and I have a 1/3 and I put them together, I have the mixed number 1 1/3. Okay? All right. So now we have decomposing unit fraction, non-unit fraction, mixed number. Now for improper fraction. The improper fraction has 2 characteristics. One is the fun one. It has a hidden hole. Okay. The next characteristic is the numerator is bigger than the denominator. Okay. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say I have 5/4. So I'm just taking this fraction and having our visual model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually the bottom number tells me the size of the unit fraction I'm using. Okay, I have 5/4 here, and if you look, if I go like this and I take a hole, and if I put it right here, look, there was a hidden hole in there. There was an amount that was equivalent to 1 whole. Okay, so I could write this. I could write 5/4. Okay, is equal to, how many are under here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/4 plus, and then this last one here, 1/4. And if we use the song, adding and subtracting is plain to see. You match the bottoms perfectly. So I matched the bottoms perfectly. And then I added 4 plus 1 is 5. So these are equivalent. Okay. And if you look here, we've got a new thing. Whenever the numerator and the denominator are the same, we create 1 whole. So you see there was a hidden hole in this number, which was here. So I could actually write 5/4 as 1 whole and 1/4, which to me looks like a mixed number. So this is a mixed number. So you can change any improper fraction to a mixed number. And here is our improper fraction. I wonder if that'll fit. Let's make it fit. Fraction. It's kind of messy. Sorry for my artistry. Okay, so next